Just joined. Welcome. My name is Jeremiah Taylor, part of the team here at Movoto slash Ojo. I don't know Chris, how much longer do I have to say Movoto slash Ojo before everybody figures out it's just Movoto?
I
We
think,
should have just named it Movojo. Would
I
have been
well,
easier.
we're gonna have to say that as long as you keep wearing that shirt.
Well, I'm gonna need some new merch. I only have two Movoto t-shirts, and there are 5 days in the week.
You know what? I only have two also, and I was gonna wear one today, but I'm traveling to a conference next week, and I didn't want to have to wash it between now and when I left this weekend, so I didn't wear it.
Yeah. These are hashtag webinar problems that we have
Yeah.
here.
Hashtag Chris
Uh,
doesn't like to do his own laundry.
All right, hey everybody, welcome. Thanks for those of you all jumping on. This is the Chris and Jeremiah Comedy Hour. No, I'm kidding. This is your April Movoto Pro Plus webinar. Jenna, you tell me when to start. We're almost at 100.
Let's get started. We have a packed agenda and some great panelists. I think we're good to go.
Okay, rock and roll. So I'm going to start y'all off. I'm going to take you through kind of our normal update.
You are in the meeting now.
Amazing. I'm here too. This is great. If y'all aren't on our panel, please mute yourselves. And welcome, by the way. So again, my name is Jeremiah Taylor, Chief Real Estate Officer here at Movoto slash Ojo. Chris informed me so long as I have Ojo merch on, I have to say Movoto slash Ojo. So that's the new rule. I will do it. This is our April Pro Plus Partner webinar. I'm going to take you through about 10 slides. A lot of you have seen this stuff. Chris and I have been meeting with a lot of our Pro Plus partners, doing these things we call them roadshows or presidents forums. And one of the things that came out of that is this playbook we're going to introduce you to today called the 353. For whatever reason, my brain processes frameworks like that a little bit better. It's something that really helped me. So I'm going to share it with you all. And hopefully it'll stick for some of you. So we're going to dive in. I'm going to try to keep my part to 15 minutes or less because we have a rock and roll panel that Chris is going to lead for us. So I want to remind you all of something. And this, for most of you that are on here today, you're team leaders. And so I want to make sure that as team leaders, we have got to help our agents on our team understand what is happening before the consumer gets introduced to them, while they're with them, and then what happens afterwards. And this is this concept we've come up with called the 353. There's 3 questions that we ask on the initial phone call. There are 5 things that make for a great agent introduction call. And then there are 3 possible outcomes after that initial introduction call. So the 3 questions we ask on the initial phone call, they're really simple. Do you have a home to sell? Are you under contract or committed to a real estate agent? And are you looking to buy or are you looking to rent?
And just to be clear, Jeremiah, I think just to be clear, those are the 3 questions that Movoto asks the consumer before you come on the line.
That's right. That's right. Thanks for clarifying that. So here's what happens. Consumer goes on Movoto.com. They fill out a lead form. We take them through a decision engine, and then most of the time we call them. The majority of these people, we get them on the phone and we ask them these 3 questions. And then that's when we bring you in. So I'm going to play a live call. It's 1.5 minutes long. This is a call from our call center. It's a real call with a real consumer. And then in a second, I'm going to play the back half of the call with the agent too. So let's go. Jenna or Chris, can you hear this? Yeah, cool.
Hi there. I'm here calling from Movoto on a recorded line. Reason for the call today is you went over to our website Movoto, inquired about our property in Lawrence, zip code 29360. Does that ring a bell?
Yes.
Great. I'm just here to get you over to the agent to better assist you. I just need to confirm your email. Not net, correct?
Correct.
And before I connect you over to a member of the team local to the area, I do need to confirm you are looking to buy a property and not rent it, right?
Yes.
Any properties to sell?
No.
No worries. And lastly, you are not under any contract with any realtors right now, are you?
No.
Great. I'll send a notification to a member of the team. Once they respond, I'll connect you over through your call. Will I have you okay to send them a text?
Sure.
All right, 1 second.
That's when the text goes out to you all.
Okay, and before I connect you over to the member of the team, I did want to let you know quickly, all of our team members go through an in-depth vetting and interview process with us. They're very responsive, experienced, and we're getting the best results. If you have any questions or better yet, need some help with buying, you're going to be really impressed with her. Please hold for 10 seconds and I'll get you connected over to her right now. One moment.
Okay.
Hello, this is.
Amber here calling on behalf of Ocean Recorded Line. I have on hold waiting to speak with a member of the team local to the area. He is looking to buy a property. Can I connect?
Yes, ma'am.
Great. Thank you for holding, sir. This is she's one of our top local team members local to the area. You're in good hands, and we'll get a follow-up in a couple of days or so to make sure you got everything you needed. Please take it from here, ma'am.
Thank you.
All right. So that's the three. We asked three questions. Do you have a home to sell? Are you under contract and committed to a real estate agent? Are you looking to buy or to rent? These are after they come in on our website. We call them, we bring you on the line. You heard when we sent out the text. Now, when we have a customer live on the phone, the text is going to look like this. It's going to say, we have a live consumer that is waiting to talk to you. You or the agent on your team will click on this, and then we will call you. Now, there are 5 things that make a phone call great on the agent call. Number 1, start with a big smile and remind them you're local. Hey, my name's Jeremiah Taylor. I'm a local agent right here in Tucson, Arizona. Number 2, immediately ask for the appointment. When's a good time to go check out the property? Number 3, set a hard appointment. Not, let's go look at it this weekend, or how about next week? I'll call you to follow up. No, a hard appointment, Friday, noon. Let's go see it. Perfect. Number 4, get enough information from the consumer to be able to provide them with a switch property. So what did you love about that property? I'd love to look, see if there's 1 or 2 others we can tour while we're out there Thursday at 3. Number 5, always close with, here's what's going to happen next. Okay. Now,
Hey, Jeremiah,
internal.
can I add
Yeah,
something
yeah.
real quick?
Go ahead.
So one thing that you guys heard on that call is that we called the consumer. So one of the things that Jeremiah and I are going to keep reminding everyone is treat these like an outbound call. Treat them like you're calling them, not like they're calling you. Meaning, when they call us, when a consumer calls us, it's very common for us to say, "Hey, how can I help you? You know, why do you know how long have you been looking?" You know, we ask all these questions so we can learn how we can serve them, right? But when you're calling someone and they're not expecting the call, and these consumers, even though they fill out a lead form, aren't most of the time aren't expecting their phone's going to ring, you know, a minute later, which it does. You want to just jump right into the conversation. The conversation is they want to see a home. We've asked them these questions. You're coming on. You don't need to take time and try to, you know, make small talk or build rapport or anything else. In fact, that's probably going to be annoying to someone who's been on hold, who's trying to get something done, and you're the one that's going to help them get it done. So the 2 things we just always want to remind you, treat it like an outbound call. And then when you come on the line, just, you know, jump right into it, because that's the normal or the expected behavior of someone who's been waiting to talk to you about seeing a home.
Yeah, exactly right. And now I want to address Gary's comment in the chat. Gary says, they're certainly not asking everyone these questions. Unfortunately, Sarah says, agreed. We have a call center QA team. We record every single one of these calls. If you get somebody that you're like, there is no way you guys asked them this, you need to let us know. You need to give us specific and timely feedback. Send an email to support@movoto.com. Kyle Day is on this call. He runs our support teams. He will immediately pick that up. They will go pull that call. We will QA that call. We will listen to what was asked and what was not, and we will get you the immediate feedback. So, like, please, 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 you guys are our partners on the street that are on the other side of these. Are we perfect? Do we get it right every time? Absolutely not. Our people are human too. And so we need your help. If you are getting these and you feel like, wow, something went wrong here, let us know. That's how we improve together. So thank you for bringing that up. Let us know. All right. This is an interactive exercise, and it's our first time doing this. I said we're going to do something different. This is the scorecard we use internally to grade calls. It's a 0 to 10 scale. If they check the box, they get a point. I'm going to play this call. It's 1 minute and 33 seconds. And I'm going to ask you to score the call and post your score in the chat. Okay. And this is just 1 through 10, not good, bad, or otherwise, just 1 through 10. And by the way, we bleep out the names and stuff because we're here to learn and improve, not to like put anybody on the spot. So it's, I know it sounds a little weird and robotic. They voice transform it and make it so that you can't figure out who it is. But here we go. Score 1 to 10.
How are you today?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good, thanks for asking. And I see that you're interested in seeing 31 Lawrence Lane. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Okay, I would love to be able to take you out to this property. When are you available?
Well, I'm available today and or Tuesday.
Okay, we can work on today. Let me reach out to the seller and see what's a good time for them. Let's see if they'll be able to respond to me right now. What time works for you today?
Today, later afternoon.
Later afternoon. Would around 3 p.m. work for you?
Sure.
Okay, I'll reach out to the sellers and see if that works for them as well.
And Tuesday may be better.
Tuesday may be better. What time?
Tuesday may be better. From say 10 o'clock on.
Okay, let me reach out to the sellers right now and see if those times work for them. And if not today, I'll get you scheduled for Tuesday, okay?
Okay.
All right, I'll give you a call back shortly. Let me just confirm with the seller.
All right. Sounds good.
All right, I'll talk to you soon.
All right.
All right. Actually, let me put the scorecard back up. Scoring it against the scorecard. How'd they do? Waiting, hang on, I gotta open the chat back up. All right, not all at once, come on. What score? Okay, I'd Spring with a 4, thanks Spring. 4, 4. Yeah, 4. All right, I think the consensus here is 4. Now, what you heard, what you didn't hear. Hey, it's Jeremiah Taylor. I'm a local agent here with Movoto. Understand you're looking into the property. They missed that like nice introduction. It was very cordial. Hey, how you doing? But they missed the opportunity to get the keyword in there, etc. Second, is you could tell the agent was trying to like look up showing time or broker bay or whatever in real time and see if there was an appointment available. I'm gonna encourage you all not to do that. I'm gonna encourage you all to say that you will do that after the call and call them back. We didn't really hear the agent ask any questions to set themselves up for success for switch properties. What did you like about this house? We didn't ask them if they have a home that they may own that they need to sell. And you didn't hear this concrete plan of action on the back end of like, okay, here's what's going to happen next. I think overall, like the agent understood the playbook. The playbook is set the appointment, confirm, and get moving. I agree, Alex. It was good that she said she'd get with the seller, not I'll go schedule with the listing agent or whatever. But overall, if I'm a consumer on the other end of that, what I want you all to understand is the average consumer on our website submits 2.3 leads. And so what happens is they end a call like that and they come right back to the website, go to the next property and submit another lead, which by the way means they also go to all the other portals and keep submitting leads on those too. When you hear a great call where the consumer's like enthusiastic, they're excited to hear back from the agent and the energy ends at like a 10 of a 10, Spring nailed it. There's no uncertainty. And that consumer then does not go back to the website and keep submitting leads, which in theory means they also don't go to our competitors' websites and keep submitting leads on those sites as well. Now, I want you to pretend for a minute that the agent went 5 for 5 and they left the call with, hey, so here's what's going to happen next. I'm going to go check with the seller. I'm going to make sure those times work. I'm going to identify 1 or 2 other properties that we could go tour on Thursday at 3. And then I will send you a follow-up text or I'll call you back if there's any changes. If that's where you leave it, there are 3 potential outcomes on the back end of this. Either number 1, serendipity struck, that house is available and you're going to go show it. Hey, great news, that works. I'll see you then. Number 2, the property is not available at the requested time, we either need to change the time or change the property, right? So change the property is, hey, calling you back for appointment Thursday at 4. I know we talked about meeting at 123 Main Street. Turns out that property is not available at that time. So I've set us up a showing for 345 Main Street. Here's all the reasons you're going to love it. I'm going to email you or text you over the property information now, and I look forward to seeing you then. Okay. The third outcome is what I call the good news, bad news script. Hey, calling you back. We have an appointment to go see a property Thursday at 3 o'clock. I've got good news and bad news. Bad news is that property is no longer available. Sold, it's 25 offers, sold $200,000 over list, whatever it is. The good news, now that you've met me, it's the last time that this will happen where you find a property you love on the internet, you inquire on it only to find out it's already been sold and it can't be yours. What I'd like to do, I found a Starbucks. It's just a couple minutes from that property we're going to meet at Thursday at 3. Let's keep our appointment. Let's meet there. I'd love to learn more about exactly what you're looking for so that I can put to use my resources, my team's resources, however your UVP is, our database of 19,000 people, my 20 years of experience, my network of 4,000 agents here in the local market, so that I can go find you the property that you want, ideally before it hits the MLS, before you have to compete with all these other people. So does that work for you? Can we meet Thursday at 3 at the Starbucks, right? So now we're changing it. We're keeping the appointment, but we're going to change it to a buyer consult. I know I went fast through this. We're going to send you guys a copy of this. We're going to send you a scorecard. We're going to send you all of it. What this is it's a primer for a way of thinking. It's a framework that hopefully will help you all have something to build on. There's a whole bunch of resources. There's scripts in our script library. If you guys haven't taken advantage of these, go check these out. I hate that my face is on all of these, so please will some of you record with these and like put your faces on them. There's even some stuff in here about like, hey, why do I sometimes get a lead and there's no address? Well, it's because somebody clicked a button that says I want an agent, not I want to see a house. That's a great thing. So like dig into these, check out those script libraries. There's a lot of good info in there. I have one more minute. I want to talk about agent awards. Last month we had a challenge, and it was the team with the highest attendance in March. So as a percentage of the whole team, who is the team that had the most agents attend? And drum roll, please. The winner is the Chris Heller Real Estate Group. Now, I am glad to know that our president has got his team on these webinars and they're getting value from them. And so we're going to send a box of merch out to Chris's team, and you guys are now eliminated from winning the next time. And so Jenna just gave me the look like you can't eliminate him. I eliminated Chris's team. And so the next time we're going to have another giveaway. But before I tell you what the giveaway is, I want to congratulate these teams. A bunch of you have gotten videos from Chris. We've been doing these Pro Plus roadshows with you. And a lot of you are really taking the information from these videos and these roadshows, and you all are just leveling up like crazy. And so I want to call out some of these top 10 groups that have really made an improvement. Like looking at the Strata group a month ago, they were getting 71 out of 100 live transfers. That's now 100%. So all these teams are ones that weren't quite, or maybe were right at 100%. And they've either stayed there or bumped up, and now they're winning 100% of their live transfers. So congratulations to you all. Great job jumping on that and continuing to improve. And also looking at our top converting teams, Mike Quayle is like setting the pace. I don't know if you all saw Mike Quayle's webinar. He was our Pro Plus guest speaker, 3 months ago, Jenna? Keep me honest here. 2 or 3 months ago.
In
He's
December.
just crushing it in December. And so Mike's investment in Ojo has been about $7,000, and he's done $67,000 in GCI from these closings from his Ojo/Movoto leads. Mike is absolutely crushing it. These are our top 5 teams from a total conversion rate perspective. Now that this program's a year old, this is what we're focused on. We're focused on conversion rate. At the end of the day, that's how you get paid. That's how we get paid. And so we want to keep the focus on that conversion rate. So next month, we are going to give away a box of merch for your whole team for the 2 teams that have the largest improvement in accept rate and showing homes rate. If you don't know what those are exactly, accept rate is, the times that you try to win the leads, and showing homes rate is obvious for the number of people you're going out and showing homes to. And so get with your success manager. We're happy to get with you, whatever support you need. But this is what will unlock the box of merch for our May Pro Plus webinar. Last thing before I get to our panel, there is a post that went out here. We're also doing a merch giveaway. If you comment on this, what are the top objections that you're hearing and bonus points? If you comment with what the objection handler or your best rebuttal is for that objection, get in there, get in the Pro Plus Ojo Facebook group. There is, Movoto Facebook group. I'm still stuck in Ojo land in my head. There's a ton of great interaction. There's a lot of good stuff every week and really every day. Ash is posting in there and doing a great job managing that community. So get engaged in there to win. Ash just posted the link to the Facebook group as well. And I think I accidentally clicked backwards and so forth. Heller, you are up, my friend, and I'm going to let you introduce our panelists to talk about some of this headline news and AR stuff.
All right, we're gonna talk about a bunch of different things. Super excited today, always excited to have a panel. And it's not because it means I don't have to talk, because I'm gonna be asking the questions. It's always exciting because we always have great panelists. And these are two people that I have a ton of respect for, that do a great job, and we all have things that we can learn from them. Spring, I'll introduce first. Spring Benson is from Utah. I can't believe there's a bigger or better team in Utah, but certainly one of the best teams in the state, and certainly one of the best teams in the country, doing 700 plus transactions. Spring runs a coaching company and some affiliate companies, and is if you follow her on social media, which I suggest you all do, she's always challenging herself, climbing mountains and putting herself to the test. Nikki tried to get me to do one of those with you, and I was like, no, I'm not gonna.
We should. We're doing Whistler together. Nikki and I are doing Whistler in August. I think it's sold
I
out.
think that's the one. Yeah, unfortunately I had an appointment that day, so I'll miss it, but maybe next year. And then Alex Rivlin. Alex has a great team in Las Vegas. They do a great job. I haven't met too many people that treat and takes his business more serious than Alex does. And I don't mean he doesn't have fun. I mean, he's a professional, and I can say that about both of you. You guys are pros, and we certainly appreciate that. So Alex in Las Vegas. Spring, what's your primary market in Utah?
I have an office in Salt Lake City, but also one that's like 20 minutes in the suburbs in Davis County.
Okay, all right. We want everyone to know that so that they can send you guys referrals.
Yeah.
So let's start off with just some. We get asked a lot of questions, and I'm going to turn it on and ask you guys, but just some basic questions like, do you both? The first question is, do you both conduct or do all your agents have a one-on-one meeting each week with either you or some leadership person on your team?
You want me to go first?
Sure.
Yeah.
Go for it.
Yeah, we do. And it's interesting. So we run a team of about 80 agents. And one of our coaches a few years ago said, hey, you're not scalable. 80 agents, that's too difficult to do one-on-ones with each of them. Why don't you go into group accountability sessions? And so we did that. We broke them into group accountability sessions. And it worked, but it didn't work well enough to go in and get granular of like actually pulling up what are they saying on the calls, like diving into their CRM. So we went back to weekly one-on-ones, and we still do the group accountability sessions. One life hack for all of you: how many of you guys have a hard time getting your agents to show up on a Friday? Like Friday's the day the office is a ghost town. We run all of our sessions on Fridays so that we can get an extra work day out of the agent. So everything accountability wise is on a Friday, and the office is hopping. So if you guys want to change, that's an extra 48 work days that we weren't getting out of them before of them coming in. So
Great idea. And you touched on it, but you guys are actually, going into the CRM with them, looking at how they're doing on their follow-up, listening to calls, saying, hey, you got
This is
introduced
why
to
we
the
fucking
Smith.
don't stand up here. Oh, thanks, dude.
Thank you. You got introduced to the Smiths last week. Where are you at on them? What do you need to do to move them forward? Like, you guys are getting real specific.
Yeah, so we use Sisu, which we can track all of their metrics at a really high level, and then obviously the CRM. We started off with like the start of our conversations is hey, I hope you're doing amazing. As you know, today is a business. We're going to sit down and talk about business. If we have time after, let's chat about your family, but let's dive in. What is the one thing this week that you feel like if we focused on would help improve your business? And then we just let them start talking of like, well, here's my issue and I don't have enough leads or I'm not whatever. And then we dive into the problem and then agitate it a little bit. So what are we pushing that button on of like, well, what is this causing you? Right. And then solving it. So we get on that and then we will dive into, well, let's actually go in and look, like, let's look at your pipeline. Let's look at them in all of this of like, let's see what you have in your CRM. What's your hot list? We focus on 10 people a week is who is in their hot list. And then the calls, what we've been doing on the calls, Chris, is we actually spot check 10 calls a day, each one of my leadership team. And just when we're driving or whatnot, and then we'll send it to that agent and say, hey, give me your feedback of this call. So they know like that we're spot checking and they're having to listen and give us the feedback. The other thing we will do is exactly what we just did on this webinar. We do a morning training. We call it ALM training. It's exact framework you guys just took us through, appointment, location, all of that. We will listen to call recordings as a group, but we will ask them who had a call you felt went great that you would like us to listen to. We'll have them pulled up, but we don't want to shame or make anybody embarrassed, right? But it's amazing how terrible they are. Terrible. And I don't say that from a place of judgment. It's just from a place of even that call we just listened to, man, she was friendly. She had a great voice. She had the best of intentions, but there was so much uncertainty of the next step. She didn't own the conversation. And so this is just an awareness for the agents to be like, oh yeah, I've got to have some improvements. So.
Yeah. I listen to a lot of calls and it's, you're spot on. I can't tell you how many calls I listen to where the agents don't even introduce themselves. They don't even say their name. Even the one we just listened to. Alex, how about you? Are you guys doing one-on-one meetings on a weekly basis?
Not a weekly basis. So like Spring, I'm in this other mode that I probably need to move back towards more accountability. So we do a monthly with the agents. Other than newer agents, they're weekly for the first 12 weeks. We do have weekly team meetings where we get together and go over things, but there are definitely holes, in that. It's a matter of finding that balance where we have the time, we're not taking all the time away, but we're looking at some of the conversion metrics and to the point of these past calls and some of the things we're seeing. I talk a lot about, I'll use people that I'm not even a fan of, by the way, like Tom Brady. For those Patriots fans out there, sorry, but I'll still give him credit where credit is due and say, I know that he's watched more tape than any quarterback in history, and he watches it for what he does well, as well as for what he needs to improve on. So that way he could keep repeating what he does well and fix what he needs to improve on. And, I ask my agents all the time, how much are you listening to what you've done? How much are you going back and auditing what you've done? And I'll do it for them and with them. And again, like Spring said, not to shame them, but just to say, hey, do you want more out of this business? Do you want more efficiency? Do you want to make as many calls and get more outcomes, or less calls and get the same outcomes? What is it that you're looking for? And we'll train to them. So, it's interesting that you're bringing this topic up, because I literally just finished my team meeting here this week, and I read a little excerpt and I pulled it up on the screen. So if you saw me looking over here, it was because of what you were talking about. And this doesn't speak to it. This was on a specific call, but it's innocuous in this. It says, after a lead reaches out to you, the goal is to build on that communication with a sense of urgency. The lead is very responsive initially on this particular call. The lead is very responsible initially, And if they visit other sites, they will likely be responsive with another realtor as well. So now is the time to dig deeper and form the relationship. And it was interesting because I had this conversation with my whole team. And I said, have you ever gotten off of a call with somebody? And you were like, yes, nailed it. They're connected with me. I'm their agent now. And I feel great because the rapport was amazing. They were so open with me. They told me about their kids. They told me about where they lived, what they want. And they just feel like they nailed it. And like literally everybody in my team raised their hand and said, yep, I've had that. And I go, and have you ever had one of those that they never ended up meeting with you or closing a deal with you? And they're like, yeah. And I go, and do you know why? And they were all kind of dumbfounded. And I read this excerpt. I said, because they were like that with somebody else too. You let your ego get in the way and you thought that rapport was so strong and that bond was so strong on that call, but you didn't go deeper and add value. And you fooled yourself into thinking that you locked that client in. And these trainings are just so important in those regards.
Yeah, and that's where the call recordings are just so key to be leveraging those. And we have team leaders on this call. We also have agents on teams on this call. And accountability is really showing compassion, right? Because if you care about someone, you're going to hold them accountable, you're going to help them. It's the people that you don't care about that you aren't going to spend the time or energy on. And we all want everyone to win, right? We all want all our team members and our teammates to win. So it doesn't happen by chance. It happens by the specific things that Spring and Alex are sharing. Let's shift gears a bit. In July, because of the class action suits and the NAR settlement, some of the things are going to be changing, some of the processes, what consumers are aware of or being told, whether it's accurate or inaccurate, it doesn't matter. But our conversations, our presentations are going to need to be different. Now, this is a Pro Plus call, right? So everyone on here is a team or on a team. I've been interviewed multiple times. I've said the same thing. I said the skilled teams, the top teams and the skilled agents will be fine or better than fine. They will do as good or better than they've ever done before. And the ones that aren't skilled, or the individual agents who don't have the experience or don't have the strong team behind them are going to struggle. And I believe that to be true. The good news is skills are something that people can acquire and can develop. So what are you guys doing to prepare your team right now? And I'll give you a second to think about that. Here's another thing that I noticed. When the settlement came out and everything else, there was a lot of reaction. But when I had one-on-one conversations, I had a lot of one-on-one conversations with a lot of top people that I know around the country. They weren't focused on reacting. They were focused on actions, not reactions. They were focused on what actions they had to take, what actions they were going to implement, where the opportunities were going to be. And I know that most of our partners, the 300 teams that we partner with, are all in that same mentality. So what are the conversations like? What are you guys focusing on? Where do you see the opportunities? And Spring, I'll let you go.
Yeah. I think first of all, the conversation in my organization is control the controllable. This, just like so many other things, like we don't have control over. So getting caught up in all the drama and the media and just all of that, like it just doesn't make any sense. So I've asked and advised my agents just to not partake in it. Like there's no reason to partake in it. There's no reason to have an opinion around it. Like if I get interviewed all the time and I'm like, I don't have an opinion on this because I can't speak educatedly about it. But what I can speak educatedly about is we know in July it's going to change. And we also know that the skill-based agent will be the one who wins, right? Like it's probably a level up. So what we're doing as an organization is, first of all, the messaging to our agents was control the controllable. The messaging to our agents is, you partnered with me for a reason. And that partnership is going to continue through this transition, because if anybody is going to win, it's going to be me, and it's going to be you if you're willing to put in the work. But the work is going to be that you are going to have to level up your skill set. Bottom line, like in life, I don't care if you're in real estate or anything, you get paid the direct proportion of value you provide to somebody's life. So now you are going to have to be able to articulate that value. And I think a little bit of the problem that we've been in, or we are in, Chris, is like, we didn't do a great job of articulating our value. Like, we didn't do a great job of saying, this is why we make X, Y, Z, and this is what I'm going to do for you. So actionable items is we're going in and redoing all of our buyer guides and all of our buyer presentations, just to add in a little bit more of the substance and a framework for our agents to be able to articulate it a little bit better, that process. We start as a company, we start Buyer Mastery next week. So we already do a lot of training. We pride ourselves in, like, if you come into my ecosystem or organization, you're going to be, you're going to get a PhD in real estate. And there's still that next level. So starting next week, we are going very heavy into Buyer Mastery. And every person in my organization has to take it. I don't care if you're a senior agent, we're going to go back and dive into it, because fortunately in Utah, we've had a buyer broker agreement the whole time. Like, we've had to get it in order to get paid. It's part of the brokerage requirements. Unfortunately, the line on the buyer broker says my compensation's XYZ, and the next line talks about how there is compensation on the MLS that will make up for that compensation. So my agents haven't been great at saying, hey, I'm going to charge you XYZ percentage, and if it's not being offered, we're going to have to come up with a difference. And so we're teaching them how they can articulate the 3 different ways they can articulate how they're going to get paid. And then also how through every step of that process, the home buying process, where they insert themselves, right? So that they can see that value. So it starts next week. We're going all the way through July. It'll be a standalone thing. I'm going very long-winded, but I want to add this in. The first 2 weeks in our organization moving forward as a new agent has always been an 8 to 5 boot camp. Like, we put you through that. And it's always been at the end of those 2 weeks, they have to pass up their buyer consultation. And it's probably not been as professional as dialed as it needs to be, where at this point, like, it will have to be passed off with like flying colors before we will give them any type of lead flow. So.
Yeah, that's great. Yeah, I love it. I'd love to hear and be there for the 2 weeks or the several weeks of that training, because I know it'll be great.
Can I say one more thing really fast, and then I'll stop talking? I think the conversation with my agents now is, we're in a service industry and you've always been the product. And this is for all of us on here. Like, we are the product. Like, they're hiring you to help them, or they're hiring one of your agents. So I'm doing a buyer mastery course with Beth Matthews through my coaching organization. And the whole last week, yesterday's session, a whole hour on this was, it's you. Like, so how are you answering your phone? What is your first impression? Like, if you're not, if you're working with people that are not your SOI, then you don't get the freedom to dress however you want to dress, right? Like, how are you, what is your outward appearance even on social media? Like, I have some agents right now that they're amazing, but they friend requested me. I went back on their Instagram and I was like, oh no, you got to go delete, like delete. You're 5 years ago, being a bartender life. Like, these are the hard conversations that we need to start having with our agents of like, you're going to have to level up, and you're going to have to level up who you are, because now you have to articulate that what service you're going to provide and why somebody should pay you tens of thousands of dollars to have them help you when they're used to making maybe their hourly wage or their salary, and they're not understanding like your compensation comes in a lump sum, right? And so I I just really, if you can take anything away from it, is everybody's going to have to level up, and it's going to start with you as the product.
Yeah, and I think that's such a great thought, and it actually starts with the leaders, like as leaders of the team. We can't ask our agents to do things we aren't doing, and we have to level up for our team to be able to level up. Alex, share some of the things that you've been talking about implementing, going to implement. What are you guys doing?
Sure. So luckily we had a little bit of a head start, but I'll start off with a conversation I've been having with my team as well as other team leaders and on other platforms where I've said, let's pull back just a little bit and understand what we've known to understand in real estate, which is behavioral targeting, right? We know we get retargeted and remarketed for things that we're looking at. So the amount of news we're seeing on this as real estate agents is dramatically more than what the public's seeing on it. Now, a lot of the public is seeing it. I'm not trying to be dismissive or discount that at all. It was on every news channel. So those that watch the news saw it. However, it was a snapshot of time. What's still on the news is not the real estate news. What's still on the news is politics, is the economy, is wars, is shootings, and probably the Kardashians. But but you know, that's not what they're seeing on an everyday and regular basis. So it was a flash in the pan for a couple minutes, and now it'll come out again in July. It's going to be part of the news cycle in July. And there are people that are getting retargeted that are part of the public because they've been to the Movoto website, they've been to Zillow, they've looked for a listing agent online. So Google knows that and says, oh, this news might be relevant to them. And that said, what my message was is don't speculate what's going through the consumer's mind. Address questions that come up, but get your pitch down. Now, where I was saying we have a little bit of a head start is from the moment I got into this business, and I'm not in it that long. I got my license in 2016. I started practicing in 17. But I said from that moment, when I realized how real estate commissions were done and used, I said, there's never going to be a time that I'm going to let somebody else dictate how much money I make. And the way that it's done with listing agents and co-ops, there are a lot of agents out there that do just that. Whatever it is that was listed as the co-op on the MLS is what they took. They either never signed a BBA or a buyer's brokerage agreement, or if they did, they still said, oh, don't worry about that. I'm just going to accept this. Maybe they didn't charge a transaction fee. They didn't up it. So when this started happening, I literally was able to take a case, go into our Slack channel and cut out a settlement statement that showed that we had upcharged a client 1% on the buyer side. Well, it's because the listing agent only negotiated a deal where there was an offer of 2%. So we were already working on this, and I had already been pitching this to my agents from when I started my team of don't let somebody else tell you what you're worth. And I've just doubled down on it. I've said, if you owned an auto repair shop and you charged $150 an hour and you had exceptional repairs and you knew you were going to fix this car with better quality parts, with higher, trained mechanics, and you have a much lower warranty or what they call comeback rate for warranty repairs than the shop down the street. But the shop down the street charged $120, and somebody didn't want to get their car fixed there. They wanted your shop to fix it, but they came in and said, hey, I spoke to Doug down the street. He's the owner of that shop, and he said you should charge me $120 an hour, not $150. Does that other shop go, oh, okay, I'll charge $120? Or do they keep their rate? So what is your worth? And how are you conveying that? And to Spring's point exactly is, now it's going to be a matter of showing up with that value and explaining it, because it's just a different explanation. But I wouldn't get in the consumer's head and start to speculate as to what they're thinking. Deliver your message, and if they have a question to ask, handle that objection as it comes. But hopefully you've given enough value and enough of an explanation at the beginning that you've covered all their objections before they've come up, because that's always the best time to cover an objection.
Yeah, I love it. Great thoughts, great points. And you made me think when you said that, my CPA sends me an engagement letter every year. He's not thinking about you know, oh, what's Chris gonna say, or is Chris gonna go find another CPA? If he's doing a great job for me, which he does, is super responsive, always takes my calls. He sends me that engagement letter, tells me what he's gonna charge me the next year, tells me what he's gonna do and not gonna do, and I sign that thing. I've yet to hire an attorney where they haven't asked me to sign a retaining letter. And if I believe that they are valuable, I'm going to sign it because I want the help. I need the help. I want the guidance. I need those things. The consumers are the same way. The difference is I think what you both said is that it's how are we presenting ourselves, how are we presenting our value proposition, and you know, are we communicating it confidently? I'm in a transaction right now. I'm buying a property in another city, and I'm using an agent, this team. And I can promise you, if these agents, the team I'm using, if they weren't good and doing a great job, number one, they'd hear it from me. Number two, I wouldn't be using them. And because they provide great value, I had no issue signing the agreement. So anyways, I could get off my soapbox, but we have a few more minutes.
Chris,
Go ahead.
I'll add one thing that's kind of not exactly on this. I mean, it's on this topic. The reality is there probably will be some buyers that will, or not will be, there will be some buyers and more buyers than normal that will go it alone, that will take that chance and self-represent, just like there are in court and, you know, everything else. Those buyers, some of them will quickly learn, just like for sale by owners that end up listing with an agent. They're going to lose out on a few offers. They're going to, you know, not get beat. They're going to get a counter offer that they don't understand or want to accept. And they're going to be like, oh, I probably need an agent. So there's going to be some people that will learn the hard way. And then there's going to be some people that will just go through the whole thing, whether it's hard or not. There, by the way, is an opportunity on the listing side. If you're carrying listings and you've got a buyer that you know, that's unrepresented, I've already told my team, I won't represent that buyer. They're going to come in unrepresented, but they're going to need the right paperwork. So I'm going to tell my seller, I don't want to sign anything with them, but I want you to have the right paperwork. So I will charge you this amount for facilitating the paperwork on their behalf and to not represent them. So I think we'll actually be able to make some more money on the listing side as well.
I agree. I think the, you know, and like, we're looking at what things we can do to help you guys and help everyone succeed at a higher level. And there's two things we're thinking about, but Spring and Alex, if you think of something, I want you to add to this. The two quick things that we're thinking about quickly that we can do that'd be helpful is, number one, to educate consumers. So the more we can educate them as to the importance of being represented, why they want to be represented, that there is a difference. Not all agents are created equal. You know, that we work with the best of the best, and here's why that's important. If we can educate them, that hopefully will make the conversations a little easier. And then preparing for them for, provided everything, you know, in July is as was in the settlement, that, hey, you'll be asked to sign a representation agreement, and the agent that we connect you with will help explain that to you in facility. But just like set them up and set our partners up for success. One of the things that we want for everyone who's on this webinar is, if you have ideas on things that we can do that you think, other than a couple of things I quickly mentioned, that would be helpful, let us know. All right, we're working on these things so that come July, you know, that we're all moving in the right direction and succeeding at a high level. All right, back to questions. And by the way, if anyone has any questions for Spring or Alex, you know, put them in the chat or put them in the Q&A, because we want to you know, be able to answer any questions you guys have. In the meantime, I'll just keep asking them. What's the biggest challenge that your team is dealing with right now, or that, and you can answer it two ways: either the biggest challenge you're dealing with in regards to your team, or the biggest challenge some of your agents are dealing with?
I can answer that. I'll answer it from an owner perspective. It's been interesting because since like 2020, it just went crazy, right? Like, none of us would have thought that it was going to go how it's gone, right? And I think that we've had like 4 different pivots, from housing inventory to interest rates to just all of it. A lot of our agents are newer So meaning they got into the business in the last 4 years. And the foundation of real estate is still the same, meaning that you build a database, you nurture them, you provide value. But a lot of people that have gotten in are just waiting for the phone to ring. They're just waiting for the Ojo or any of the other lead source. And so they're really losing that foundation of real estate. And so from an organization, from owning a team, it's like, how do we have the Ojo Plus just be the bonus, not the business? Does that make sense? Like, you guys have to work outside of just waiting for that phone to ring. And if the phone rings, do a quality job and build that relationship, because it's not like people are going to buy today, where the last few years ago, it was like an instant purchase and multiple offers. I'm not saying that's not happening, but it's not every single one. So for me, it's really getting these guys to go, and girls, to go back into the foundation of building rapport, being a fiduciary, creating that relationship, using the CRM, the same things it's probably always been, but really elevated right now of a focus for us.
Cool, cool. Alex, how about you? Biggest challenge?
Kind of same lines, but a little bit different, is that is because of the way things were over the past, not in the past 2 years, but prior to that, people were so used to the client needing them that they didn't work to earn the business. The business came to them. And the biggest challenge out of that is this crazy fear of asking, of just being bold and asking for the appointment, asking for the buyer consult, and just coming in with a hardline definitive ask. They're all soft, and I hear calls where, hey, Chris, that's great. I'm setting up a saved search for you, and I'll follow up in a few days. And I'm like, what? No. Like, there's never a follow up in a few days. If we got the no on the appointment 3 times, then I'm not setting up a saved search, because here, I literally said this at my meeting today. I go, who else could set up a saved search? And they're like, other agents. I go, who else? And I go, they can. They don't need you to set up a saved search. They could do it on Movoto. They could do it on Zillow. They could do it on Redfin, and they do. And so I said, no, based on what you told me, I'm going to hand pick and send you 3 listings that I think are going to really hit the mark. You will have those by 10 a.m. tomorrow morning, and I will follow up at 4 o'clock tomorrow to find out exactly what you loved and if you hated anything about the ones that I've sent you, so I can make sure that I am capturing the essence of everything you need.
I love that.
Yeah.
And so they just don't ask, and they need to be bolder and be willing to make the ask. And especially as we move forward to this new, July, you're going to have to talk about money. That's the hardest thing to talk about. That's what buyer's agents don't have to talk about normally. Difference between listing agents and buyer's agents. So you're going to have to get bold and be willing to talk about it and not sweep it under a rock.
Mm.
Yeah, and it really goes back to skills, right? I had an agent on my team ask me today, like, I wish I could take you on my appointments. And I was thinking, that would be torture for me. But I understood why I was saying that. And I said, well, look, the difference between you and I is our skill level. And the only reason I have higher skills is because I put in more time practicing. And the best way to build confidence and everything else is be prepared and put in practice, right? That's the name of the game. And then it's like having the discipline to practice and having the schedule and doing those things. So, but as I said to them, none of this is hard. Like, don't make it hard. This is real estate. Like, we are helping people. We're talking about practicing. We're talking about following the schedule. We're not talking about doing hard labor. We're not talking about, building rocket ships or doing brain surgery, right? This is pretty simple stuff that, if you just make the decision to do it. So anyways, I was ranting. I feel like I'm ranting now. So we have just a couple minutes. I want to say a couple things. Number one, for all our partners, we appreciate you. We appreciate everyone being here. We know everyone's busy. Spring and Alex, you guys are awesome. There's zero doubt that the second half of the year will be as good or better than the first half of the year for you guys, and things will continue to improve. Thank you for sharing. Thank you for being authentic and open. Everyone will get a copy of this. We'll send out the call scoring things, and if there's anything else that you guys want us to be doing when we do these each month, please add them. Jeremiah or Jenna, anything else I'm supposed to do before we say goodbye? Jeremiah is nodding no. All right. Well, then we will end a couple minutes early. Again, Spring and Alex, thank you guys. You're two true pros, and really, Spring, sorry I can't be there in August, but you know, I'll
Next year, we're gonna hold you
Is it
to
another
it.
20
It
is it
seems
another
like an
29 and
annual
29?
occurrence.
But
Yeah,
so everyone understands,
Yeah.
just in the last minute, tell everyone what you're doing in August.
Well, it's the equivalent of hiking Mount Everest in 36 hours. So Nikki and I and a group of us, we're going to Whistler. Whistler's only, and I say only, but it's only 8 laps, which is 32 miles to equivalent that. So the elevation per lap is not as intense, and it's beautiful, but it's an endurance, it's a grind. Nikki and I did Jackson Hole, and it was at a conference, and we were like, yeah, let's do it. And we signed up. And then after, when we were finished, she hugged me at the finish line, and she's like, that was the best and most horrible thing I've ever done. Because it is truly like you're going for hours and hours of just climbing a mountain. So yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Impressive for sure. All right. Thanks, everyone. Have a great rest of the week. We appreciate you.
Bye, you guys.